Painting the night sky with you, getting high in the sunrise with you, getting through all the bad times with you. I wasn't missing a thing, now I do. And I wish that I could put a time machine, 'cause time moves on, and now you're gone. Oh, if only I could build a time machine, I'd come and get you. I can't forget you. I miss you, I miss you, I miss you all the time.
Alright, so here I am looking like the angry truck guy. I was going to get a tripod or freaking whatever, but I decided I was going to do this because it's just so much easier than trying to type away. I mean, you can't actually talk to some of these people. That's my lie, and I'm going to stick to it. It's like every time, so I'm like middle of the road. Just middle of the road. Anytime I've taken a political spectrum test, it's like freaking, if it's crosshairs, freaking AB access, I am like freaking right here. Sometimes on these tests, and I take them on a regular, sorry I smoke, but I take them on a regular, probably every quarter, and answer to the best of my abilities and as truthfully as possible. And sometimes even I'll lay a little bit to the left, but for whatever reason, because, well, I'm Yosh, freaking, I get accused of freaking being a Trumper, being this, that, and the third. And I'm like, dude, so let me just get this out of the way. Between Trump and what you guys have put up for the freaking Democratic Party, well, sometimes the kids touch my legs and they raise the hair up on my legs. I mean, really? Come on. Anyway, moving on real quick. This is like my first video, and it is because of this. And I get a lot of freaking hate and vitriol. Believe it or not, freaking this guy, me, freaking, I got called a white Jewish piece of shit racist by two people that I went to fucking high school with. And if I drop an F-bomb that said at the beginning of the video, freaking, there may be adult language. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And I try not to. I try and make it into a freaking or whatever. You'll forgive me. Two people I went to high school with freaking bashed me because of an ambiguous comment. It did not deserve freaking what I got, you know. And I'm like, I am truly a pretty laid back individual. I am, in my opinion, in most people's opinion, I'm a laid back individual. I am definitely a don't start none, won't be none kind of guy. I'm serious to that point. I believe in my, I know I'm giving you a lot of front story, but this is the first video that I've ever decided that I was going to put onto the YouTube. I have a lot of faith in the people in my country, and sometimes it's tested real hard because there's a lot of freaking turds that want to turn America into something that it was not designed to be. And to me, that is an overstep. But moving on. So, buddy of mine that I went to high school, this is a completely different thing, and I'll probably do another video for what I went through on this other one. Alright, so this post is from a buddy of mine from high school, Bone. He's pretty far left, and that's fine. I don't think he's considered a progressive, and a lot of progressives I have a little bit of an issue with ideology wise. But bone, and he's also freaking a black dude. And that's fine too, you know, because honestly, I don't care about freaking color, you know. He's a pretty cool dude. He's actually really a cool dude. He's pretty fucking civil. F-bomb. Sorry. Warned you at the beginning. Anyway, he posts and comments. The freaking article is from the Daily Beast. 17-year-old Blue Lives Matter fan charged with murder after 2 killed at Kenosha protest. We all know who we're talking about. Kyle Rittenhouse. His comment: the terrorists in this country are in plain sight and protected. Okay, so this is what this video, the one that I'm making, is all about. So a buddy of his, John Rossi, and guys, if you have a problem with me naming your names, you are on a public forum, so there's no freaking expectation of privacy, right? John Rossi says he's a fan, but BLM supporters are anarchist rioters and thugs. John Rossi says, fuck out of here. His words. Brian Bonner says, John Rossi, for real. Chelsea Clark says, 17-year-old murderer. My God. I said, gents, not going to change anyone's mind, I'm sure, but the young man was attacked, separated from his cadre, and defending himself. How is he a murderer? Would seriously appreciate understanding your point of view. This video I watched and could stomach. He was moving away, was followed, and attacked. So there's 9 replies to this. Elisa Anderson. Lisa Anderson. Her name is Lisa Anderson. Lisa Anderson responds to me. First off, I don't why you'd start with gents. It's 2020. Women are here too. Well, no shit. But anyhow, I'll move on. Thanks, this is going to be good. Have you ever gone to a protest? Did you think you'd change people's mind and the movement would be forwarded if you killed someone? No? So what was his purpose of bringing a loaded weapon? And also, I'm hoping that was autocorrect, that you said you watched the video and could stomach. My reply: Lisa, I used gents simply because I was not addressing the ladies with my comment. I am well aware that it is 2020, that women are here too. I greatly value the female perspective and opinion, but you are not whom I was addressing. To answer your question, I do not attend those types of parties. He brought a rifle to a protest because it seems that most protests are misspelled nowadays. The actual spelling looks a lot more like riot. His purpose, along with his cadre, was to protect property and life from rioters. The gas station and auto shop that he was protecting from being burned to the ground, along with the property of those property of others whose vehicles were there to be fixed or serviced, ironically, was owned by an individual who is an outspoken supporter of BLM. Also, ironically, a large amount of the vandalism and assault during protest, appears, at least in my opinion, to be promulgated by mostly the woke variety of white folk. I truly find that odd. The boy was separated from his cadre, not unlike how SEALs are separated from their group by Orca. At least one of the would-be assailants identified was a registered felon and in possession of a firearm. That individual lost most of his bicep due to his unfortunate decision to engage another individual with a rifle, and will probably in fact lose the rest of the existing appendage. A constant reminder of poor decision-making skills. That is a constant reminder of poor decision-making skills. When he actually stopped before he attacked. So he stopped, he thought about it, and then he moved forward in progress to try and attack Kyle, the 17-year-old, who is on the ground with a rifle pointed at him. So yeah, he totally got freaking blasted, and that will be a constant reminder of how freaking stupid his ass was. Had he walked away, I'm pretty sure that that young man who displayed, in my personal opinion, displayed impeccable trigger discipline. Had he walked away, he wouldn't have freaking a blown ass arm. But anyway, he was not there ambiguously shooting people in the street. His task and purpose was to help protect private property from bad actors. As far as, and in response to your question about stomach, that comment relates to the fact that I am not at all squeamish in relation to blood or death, to include maiming, but do not necessarily extol it. I was able to stomach the video in the third assailant's head being all but removed from his neck. That's a messed up freaking typo, because it was not the third assailant. The third assailant was the one that got shot in the bicep. But moving on, because I believe the kid was defending himself and demonstrating great restraint. The video of late that I could not stomach and have still yet not been able to watch in its entirety was that of Derek Chauvin murdering George Floyd. I do believe that Derek Chauvin did something that the department did not condone, should not condone, has not condoned, from the best of my knowledge, and he is partly responsible, at least. Whether George Floyd was on drugs or having a cardiac arrest prior to, whatever, dude should not have freaking sat on his neck. And the smug fucking look on his face while he was doing it just made me want to fucking crumble the son of a bitch. But that's a whole nother story. Was that of Derek Chauvin murdering George Floyd. I could not stomach watching that video, as it literally made me sick. I've not watched it. When George Floyd was on the ground and he asked for his mama. He called his mama. I about broke right there, because when a man calls for his mama, boy, I'm so fucking pissed, you know? Literally made me sick. I said, I hope that answers all your questions, ma'am. So Bone responds, these militias have zero place at a protest. If they love cops so much, they should sit back and let them do their job. Because everybody's trying to emasculate the freaking police. These militiamen are overwhelmingly white and anti-black. Where do you figure that they're anti-black? I mean, there's a lot of militias that are freaking, well, actually pretty much every militia I know of, their freaking statement, when joining is freaking, and I'm not a member of a militia, but freaking is, basically, we do not see white, black, yellow, or otherwise. You are all green. Just kind of like the Army or the Marine Corps. You are all part of the same freaking unit. Doesn't matter who the fuck you are. It's quality of character. It's your background check. All of those things before you join that militia. Now, sure, there are some white supremacist militias, but there's also black supremacist militias like NFAC or whatever the fuck it is. So, anyway, moving on. Militiamen are overwhelmingly white and anti-black. Their presence is agnostic. So what's the problem with God? I'm guessing that's what you're trying to say there. Their pages promote violence. I think I've only been to a few freaking militia pages in the first place. Do you cruise them on a regular basis? But I'm pretty sure that freaking being a militia, a well-regulated militia, requires that you're not spouting violence. Otherwise, you're going to be a terrorist group, kind of like what they're freaking doing with fucking Antifa. Anyway, the people with poor training and lots of firepower have no place at a protest. Going to say this, man. Fucking that kid freaking rocked it as far as his training went. I don't know where he got trained, but that is some freaking seriously good freaking trigger discipline that boy had. Seriously good trigger discipline that boy had. I mean, rocked it. He did not shoot unnecessarily, and he did not freaking plug people that did not deserve being plugged. I've watched the video several freaking times. That is my strong personal opinion and the strong personal opinion of other people. Just because he's been brought up on charges does not mean that the freaking charges are going to stick, just so you know. Oh. This child wasn't even from that town and owned the firearm illegally. There's nothing that says, as far as I've seen, that he owned it illegally. Also, he is from freaking 15 to 20 minutes outside of town. It may be across state lines, but he did not cross state line with a firearm in order to conduct illegal business, with the intent to go armed. Okay, so I'm not an attorney, but there are attorneys that you can watch, you can pull up on this shooting that speak freely and have that freaking background knowledge. So whatever, you're not an attorney either. You freaking pour drinks for a living, which is honorable because I like drinks. Let's see. Now, also consider why this protest was happening. An unarmed black man was shot in the back 8 fucking times. Your words, not mine. This heavily armed white kid murdered 3 people and walked past the cops and went home. Horseshit. He did not frickin' murder 3 people. He did walk past the police with his hands up, but the APCs were coming in, freaking armored personnel carriers were coming in to the area to secure the area. They didn't know that he was involved. They ended up freaking taking him. Just because you're black and you have a rifle strapped to your freaking chest does not mean you're getting shot. I've seen a lot of freaking YouTube videos about that. I've seen a couple that were disturbing because they have white people walking down a freaking street with a freaking AR, and then they have a black guy fucking walking down the street with an AR. The black guy actually got put on the ground in this particular video. So it does happen, and that is egregious, in my opinion. Let's see. Property. Toy soldiers showed up. So you're implying that these toy soldiers showing up from out of town to protect the property of people they don't even know, all out of the goodness of their hearts? Bullshit. These are people that look for an excuse to show power. Horseshit. Freaking, if they're so worried about the property, leave it to the cops. The cops can't freaking get in there because of barricades and bullshit that freaking people are putting out, like freaking Antifa and freaking BLM. So they shouldn't take the law into their own hands. He should not have been there in the first place. I'm going to go ahead and segue for a second. Did you guys watch the preamble to this shooting event? Because it appeared in that preamble that freaking, I'm going to turn this light on. It appeared in that preamble that freaking, there were lots of dudes there to protect this property. And why they were there, who gives a shit? It's not my job to freaking discern that. Freaking, they decided that this was a piece of property that they wanted to freaking protect, or for whatever reason. That's well within their rights. And as long as they had the permission to be on private property, then what is the deal? So the kicker is that these dudes, these other dudes, the Antifa, BLM guys, whatever, and it was mostly freaking white folk that were damn screaming the N-word, freaking shoot me. You know what I mean? I'm not even going to drop the M-bomb. But my point is, freaking, of all the dudes that were there, freaking, the majority of them were huge. I mean, they literally, big beards, freaking full kit, freaking AR, fucking extra mags, fucking probably had grenades. Who fucking knows? The fact is that they were big dudes. And they looked like they just walked out of a freaking a special forces freaking damn war room with mission briefing and ready to freaking rock, lock, and cock. You know what I mean? And these guys, the Antifa BLM guys, freaking ended up freaking picking the littlest dude, which happened to be freaking Kyle Rittenhouse. They didn't go after the freaking huge dudes that looked like they just fucking ate steroids out of a Pez dispenser. They went for the little dude, the baby-faced guy, you know, not the dude that looks like he could freaking rock and knuckle. You know what I mean? So these turds picked out the juvenile and then culled him from the group and then ran him up the damn street to try and assault him. I mean, that's a sad fucking fact. Anyway, so the whole point of this, well, let's go on. McKinley Williamson says that video shows him being chased because he had already shot someone and the crowd was trying to disarm him. Horseshit. Look at all the video. Freaking the 3 shootings happened in succession. Freaking because he was cold. Not because he had shot somebody and then all of a sudden the angry mob or the do-gooder mob, the mostly peaceful pieces of shit, were trying to freaking run him down to take his weapon and get him arrested. Fuck me. So then Ashley Hunt, and this is where it gets good. See, this is where it goes every freaking time that you try and post something. Some fucking idiot, and I said fucking idiot, freaking comes on and says, Ashley Hunt, that's her name, says, "Hi, I want to make it absolutely clear that you are trash, and I will not be engaging with you beyond this statement." And I'm like, well, fucking thanks, because I really don't want to engage with you in the first place, Ashley. I mean, you're like a fucking Karen over there. You're like freaking, "Hi, I want to make it absolutely clear to you that you are trash and I will not be engaging with you beyond that statement." Man, that makes me feel real good. I'm glad that you will not be engaging with me. That is actually important to me. But why did you even come on and freaking say one freaking thing to me, you dumb shit? And, by the way, what you did was libel, okay? So you wrote that I am trash. Will that affect my business? Will that affect me and my interpersonal relationships with other people? Because, well, you, Miss Hunt, freaking think that I am trash? It could, and that is considered libel. So you need to read the definition. Hell, I'd get Siri or whatever her freaking name is to freaking tell you the definition of freaking libel. But you need to look it up yourself, because that could carry some serious consequences. If I was to equate that to how much freaking business or how many friends did I lose, freaking monetarily, especially business, freaking, I mean, you could be freaking held liable. So don't look up liable, look up libel, you dumb shit freaking prick. Where did you even come from? Anyway, so this guy, Stephen Michael, if you think women can't address issues of violence, guns, or public welfare, you're a right cunt. And I hope you look back on your past self around 2025 and feel a deep sense of shame. And then he goes on to say, fuck it, I'm feeling Randy. Well, I thought your name was Stephen Michael. 2 first names, too. Anyway, explain in detail to us why the ladies can't give you feedback on this topic. Be explicit, be honest, don't hold back, be your real self. Well, Stephen Michael, I'm pretty sure you've been fucking friend zoned since fucking middle school. So what the fuck do I have to do to fucking, I mean, why would I even answer you? Anyway, Stephen Michael also goes on and says, then tip your hat. Real cool like. Real fucking cool like. Man, you're a hot topic, buddy. I mean, if you think women can't address issues of violence, guns, or public, where the fuck did you come from, dude? Did you actually read what I fucking said? Or did you freaking, like, all of a sudden go off on this fucking, I'm fucking cool guy and I'm going to defend the women because they can't defend themselves? I never said anything derogatory about women. What I said was, freaking, I appreciate them. I appreciate their opinion. I know they have a place in freaking 2020, dumbass. But freaking, I wasn't addressing them earlier. And tip your hat real cool. Freaking, this one guy, Nick Davis, he goes on to freaking be pretty cool. Freaking, Bone didn't actually give him any love. And then another buddy of mine, I'm not even going to name his name, but freaking, he goes off on this little tirade, and he was respectful. And that's the whole point of the video is that if you're respectful when you communicate with somebody, when you talk, when you have an issue and you talk it out, then that's cool. But when you come at somebody like freaking, I'm feeling Randy, well, how fucking Randy are you, dude? I mean, do you really know who the hell I am? Do you know where freaking, I mean, I'm nice as the day is long, but if you were in front of me and you freaking said, well, I'm feeling Randy, then you're probably going to be really, really, really close to me trying to get you to draw a punch so that I can knock your fucking teeth into chiclets. Because there's no reason to be an asshole. And there was nothing I said about freaking women other than freaking I know that they're there. And Miss Ashley Hunt, well, I guess I'm a piece of trash. Anyway, cheers. First video. Freaking hell of a lot easier. And I kind of like it. One more thing. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button down below. Frickin', I'd like to be able to frickin' just put this message out. Be reasonable. Be responsible. Be considerate. Love your fellow man. Don't block traffic. And don't be a fucking asshole. Can we do some outro music? Oh, hell no.